God bless everybody. How are you? I'm going to. God bless everybody. How are you? Welcome to the Crazy Within Talk Show. I am so excited for today's show. Not just for the show, but actually for the person that's on the show. She is a woman of God that I have known for quite some time, and I do love her immensely. She is truly a coach. When I say a coach, she is truly a coach, and I am so honored to have her on this show. And so I'm gonna read her bio first, and then I will bring her on for you guys to meet. All right. So Coach Tine Lane, aka the Lane Changer, is a motivational speaker, teen date abuse educator, youth empowerment coach, media personality, financial literacy educator, domestic violence advocate, and a licensed life and health insurance producer. She has a passion and a commitment to work with adults and youth on their emotional, physical, and total development. Tina is committed to her craft and has attended leadership training and conferences to obtain professional certification. Over the past 15 years, she has been blessed to facilitate workshops on self esteem, dating abuse, financial literacy, professional development, dress for success, and character building, etc. for local organizations, corporations, conferences, schools, and religious institutions. Tina is on a mission to bring awareness on teen dating, violence, and prevention. In June 2015, she received a certification of completion from the Office of Essex County Prosecutor, State of New Jersey, for successfully completing training to assist inmate partner violence survivors. In July of 2012, she received a certificate of training for the Domestic Violence Advocate Program through Allison Mayon Beautiful Me Incorporated. May I say her last name Malone. Tina is dedicated in being an asset in her community and has gone without and it has not gone without recognition. First Baptist Church of Hillside, in honor of Women's History Month, presented her with the Hidden Figure Award for her outstanding citizenship and the example she sets for the community. You guys do not know the gem that you have in New Jersey. You really don't. She is also the proud recipient of the 2011 Community Award for her contributions to the youth community. Feed the Children Outreach Festival in Newark, New Jersey, my old hometown. Yes. In 2006 and 7, she was given the esteemed honor by the Newark Public Schools to serve as principal of the day. Tina is a prominent speaker and sought after guest. She has appeared on media outlets to discuss teen dating, abuse, and domestic violence. Some of her guest appearances are Hot 97, that's in New York, that's a radio station with Lisa Everett, Street Soldiers, that's also in New York, Love 860, Hot Atlanta, WACE, and Revealing You TV show. Cablevision, Newark, New Jersey, and Godly Women's View blog talk to discuss domestic violence and teen abuse. She is also the co-producer and host of 2 cable shows, The Village Drum and D. Carter 101, which airs in thousands of homes on Newark's Cablevision Channel 19. Tina endeavors to fulfill her purpose in life by having the Lord use her for his glory. Her favorite scripture is Proverbs 31:10. Come on, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. And without a further ado, I want to introduce to some and reintroduce to others Coach Tine Lane. Come on in here, Tina.
Oh, okay.
Come on
Everyone
in
can see me. You can see me
here.
good? Okay. All right. As long as you can see me. Yes. All right. It's a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you so much, Crazy Coach Cynthia. I so appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about something that I am passionate about.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
just love Crazy Coach Cynthia because she has a lot to offer as a coach as well. So she is a gym that was in New Jersey, but she transferred that gym to Florida. So she's still a gym, but just in another location.
And I am so happy to be in Florida, but I am happy to talk about this subject because I think it's one. I know me, you have talked on the sidelines, but
Yes,
I think
yes.
it's one that does not go um, without saying enough. I don't think that we talk about this enough. I think that we sort of sugarcoat this. I think we sort of just go, "Oh, it's just puppy love. Oh, they're just playing around. They're just kids," and we sort of just nix it, and we don't realize that the same abuse that takes place with two grown adults, as we would say,
Right,
also take place with teenagers. And I want to say that teenagers start from 10. I'm not talking about
right.
like everybody just assumes that it's the older teenagers, it's the ones in high school. No, this can start in elementary school,
Yes, it
or
does.
as some people would say middle school, based on where you are. And so this is a hot topic for me. I do know, I did find out that that national teen dating is done actually, awareness is done in
It's
February.
February.
We're going to do it in October
That's
because
right. It's okay. It's okay.
it can never be said enough. So,
Yeah.
I first want to bring, I know I did your introduction, but can you please tell everybody who Tine Lane is?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, who is Tina Lane?
Yes.
Okay. Tina Lane is an energetic, loving person, loves the Lord, loves her family, has a passion to give back to people, to help them develop, to work towards their goal. My tagline is Tina Lane, aka the Lane Changer. If you're
Yeah.
looking to change lanes in your life, whether personal and professional development, I'm the person to help you change that lane. So, uh, overall, I just like to say that who I am is what I embody. What who I am, I embody this every day. Because as a coach, whatever skill set that you have, whether you're at home, whether you're in ministry, whether you're at work, you are in demonstrating and giving those tools wherever you are. So I just love helping people. I love giving back. I love motivating people, aspiring them to achieve their goals. I love people to think outside the box. I love them to change lanes in their life. That is a passion for me because I've seen people grow once they're able to change the lane and change the lens. So, and
Amen.
not think inside the box, think outside of the box and realize
Right.
there's more to them than what they think. So, identifying your purpose, identifying your mission, identifying your goal. That's what I love to do. So that's who Tina is, the identifier. You want to identify something in you, something that you want to tap into. I'm your person.
Amen. And I love the, and I can honestly say, as somebody who has uh been there when Tina is helping you change your lanes, watching her in action, it is wonderful because Tina comes off very soft spoken, but when she talking about what she know about, you know, because she comes correct. She has the information for you. And so I enjoy not only just being her sister in Christ, because she is, as
Yes,
I said before, a woman of God. Besides for being her sister in Christ, I do enjoy watching my sister in her ministry, whether she is talking about teen violence, whether she's talking about financial literacy, which I will bring you back on for that as well. Uh,
okay, okay.
beginning of the year when we try to get our finances together after we don't went
Yes,
crazy shopping
yes,
for Christmas. Uh, we need that financial literacy. Um, and she is very well versed in everything that she does. She's not somebody just coming on and just talking willy nilly. She is somebody who takes the time to get uh, more and more educated in what she's talking about, to go back and get those certificates, to go back and be a part of the community, actually being out there and working with people, having not just the knowledge but the experience. She's talking from a
Correct.
place that she knows what she's talking about. She's dealing with the team, she's talking to them. So it's not something that she heard about, it's something that she's actually seen, considering that she's going into the public schools, she's in the church area, conferences, and different organizations. She's putting it out there. She's letting it be known that this is for real. Like, we can't keep playing with this. And for those of you who are watching, you can see the number, right? It's going to scroll throughout the whole episode today. The National Teen Date Abuse Hotline number is right there. Maybe you don't know anyone personally. I'll say that. Maybe you don't know anyone personally, but you know somebody with some kids. You know somebody with a daughter. You know somebody with a son, because it goes both ways. Girls hit just like boys hit. And maybe the mother has said something, or maybe the father has said something that made you go, you might want to jot down this number and give it to them. You might want to say, you might want to call. Maybe you don't have your teen to call, but you call. So maybe
Right.
you can get some information on what the signs look like,
That's
what
true.
it may look like to you, so that you don't walk around and don't know what's going on with your own child. And as we get more into this, I have a video that I found that I thought was very educational. So I'm gonna show that video
Okay.
about different things, but um, from teens' point of view, which I love. That's why I wanted to do this, because this is from teenagers actually doing these videos. So
Yes.
I hope everybody will enjoy this. But I just put it out there, but I do want to say, Coach Tina, can you tell us a little bit what type of signs should we be looking for when we're talking about teen abuse? Because I know it can look a little different than um, adult abuse.
Okay. Well, first of all, I can go into what is teen dating abuse and just understanding what it is. Dating someone who's trying to totally have control over you, set
Mhm,
boundaries for you. And dating abuse can happen in many different forms. It can be physical, it can be verbal, it can be emotional, it can be financial, it can be sexual, and it can be digital abuse. And sometimes we don't talk about some of the other areas, such as financial or digital abuse, social media abuse, but our teenagers are on electronics. So abuse can come in that area, and we have to be aware of that. Some of the warning signs you can look for in a teenager, and when I say teen, again, like you said, it can range from 10 to 18, because statistics have shown that 1 out of 5 teen or preteen have experienced abuse before they graduated from high school.
mhm,
Those
mhm,
numbers are very high. So some form of abuse. And when you're looking at it, just want to talk about this for a second. You have healthy relationships, you have unhealthy relationship, and then you have abuse. Okay.
mhm, mhm,
So later on, we'll talk about the difference, because healthy, what does that look like? Unhealthy, well, Coach Sheena, if it's unhealthy, isn't it an abuse? Well, it's unhealthy and it's leading to
mhm, mhm, mhm.
abuse because the person has
Yes.
those qualities. Okay. Warning signs in your teenagers can mean many different things. You notice that your teen is not hanging around their friends anymore. That person is now consuming all of their time. You
Mhm,
notice that they can't go anywhere without their cell phone. They feel, even when they're out with their family, they feel as though they have to get back home at a certain time to call. Excuse me, drink some water. Um, excuse me, to call him or her. So what they're going to do is carry their phone with them all the time, and constantly you're at dinner, at the dinner table, whether you're home on a restaurant, and they're steady texting,
right.
responding. And so as a parent, you're saying, who are you talking to? And that
Right.
your child is now feeling as though they have to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Another warning sign, if your child has been very energetic, now you see them very somber, sad, no longer hanging around their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another warning sign is change of their clothes that they wear.
Mm.
Sometimes they're being control of what they can wear. So you had a teen who was dressing very vibrant and happy. All of a sudden, looks like they're just getting out the bed and just leaving wearing saggy clothes. So for
Mm-hmm.
girls, maybe something that's too big, that's something that don't look too revealing. You're wondering why you're wearing that sweatshirt and those big pants when you used to wear those jeans and that shirt and you used to
Mm-hmm.
make your hair look nice. All of a sudden, you're not doing those things. Why? Because the person that she is dating is now controlling
Mm-hmm.
what she wears.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the warning signs. There's so many, but I just wanted to point those out. Another warning sign is you walk in your teen room and you notice that she or he is crying or constantly arguing. And you're trying to figure out, I thought I heard you yelling on the
Mm-hmm.
phone. I thought I heard you crying.
Right. Right.
Another warning sign, straight A student, or at least a student with good grades. All of a sudden, they're failing.
Mm.
They're no longer studying. They can no longer stay focused. And what you're wondering, you notice that everything changed once your child started dating this person.
Right. Right.
Grades change, appearance change, behavior change, mood change, isolation change, isolated. Um,
Mm-hmm.
usually, a person who is abusing your child will actually try to you, turn your child against you.
Yes. Yes.
So you have to be careful, even the conversation that you have. And we'll talk about that later,
Mm-hmm.
because most time parents want to immediately step in and say, leave him or her. I want you out of that relationship. But guess what? That abuser is telling your child, that's what I'm talking about. She's trying
Right.
to control you. Your mother
Right.
and father's trying to control you. They
Yes.
just told you to leave me. So the abuser will manipulate and turn the words, same words around that you say to, to protect your child to be
Right.
used against you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And those are some good signs to look out for, especially when you're talking about teenagers. Because teenagers,
Yes,
I remember being a teenager, and I know that teenagers we can hide stuff. At least we think we're hiding things
that's
really.
true.
And you may not see that person may not never strike them,
Hmm.
but the emotional toll, the verbal toll, the spiritual toll, the financial toll that happens in the relationship can be so much that is worse than the actual getting hit. Um,
Right,
so it's the, as I say, it's not necessarily these two, but these two are what I would consider, and that is the star football player and the cheerleader, or the star
right,
basketball player and the cheerleader, or the pep squad leader, and they're both popular and they're both cute and they have
right.
a great relationship, but his family is pressuring him to get that football scholarship, and all the pressure is hitting him, and so he takes it out on her. Or
That is true.
maybe she's academically, maybe it's reversed, where he's a nice guy, and and they're both in the same class, but she has more pressure on her academically. She's going to be the first one to graduate from high school and go off to college. She has a lot of schools looking at her, and her parents want her to go to this particular school, and so she has a lot of pressure. So when he comes around and he says that one thing, it just throws her all off, and then the next thing they're getting into arguing and screaming and
Yes,
yelling, breaking up, get back together, break up, get back together. Those are signs that as adults we need to be cautious of, because sometimes that's not a good thing. I mean, I know we break up and we get back together, but the constant screaming, yelling, seeing your child or your niece or your nephew or your grandchild going through emotional tolls, and it seems like all they want to listen to is the saddest music they could ever find, and they do
yes,
this for days on end, and they don't
that's
eat
true.
like the way they used to, and they don't do the things that they
Yes,
once used to. Those are all signs that we can honestly see, Like you can see it. If your child was that child that would come and watch TV with you, and now that child doesn't come watch TV with you anymore, that's a sign. And that's
No,
something that you need to definitely investigate.
and I'm glad you said that because that is a sign. And I forgot to add two more signs. You may see physical abuse in your child, but
Mhm.
she or he may state to you, "Oh, I just fell by accident. I tripped. You know, I'm clumsy. So you're starting to see different bruises on your child, wounds,
Right,
and
right.
they're unexplainable when you ask your
Mm,
child. So you can't overlook that. Another warning sign is a person who's excessively jealous,
yes,
especially jealous,
yes,
insecure. You cannot go anywhere. You cannot smile. You can't do anything. So, with that being said, you will have an issue if you are even saying hello to someone,
yes.
because that person is very, very jealous.
Very
So,
jealous.
very jealous. So, there are definitely warning signs, and I had to look down because I didn't want to make sure that I missed anything. But those are warning signs in general, not just for the parent, but just
Yes.
warning signs for the child as well. You know.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And we want to make sure, and I want to stress this, we're talking about teen dating abuse or teen abuse. And I want to stress this that a lot of times we see the signs, but because they're teenagers, and I want to stress this when I say teen, I'm starting at 10. When
Yes.
we see it at a younger age, a lot of times we ignore it because we think it's just puppy love, or it's just teenagers going through their moods or their stages because they're changing and yada yada yada. But we have to me, sometimes when it comes to teenagers, be a lot more aware of what they're going through, and we have to honestly listen to. Sometimes they don't speak it, but they're saying it. Like the
Right.
sign for help may not come out as help. Sometimes a sign for help is going to come out. They start looking at you and you be like, what's wrong? And they be like, oh, it's nothing. But it's something.
Yes.
And
It's something.
you may have to press a little bit. You may have to, or you may have to get to that aunt that's like their confidant and be like, look, every time I see her, she's acting real funny. Or every time I see him, he's acting real funny. And
Right.
y'all real cool and everything. So I need you to talk to them, find out what's going on, because sometimes they may not come to their mother and father, but they will go to a close aunt or a close cousin or even grandma and grandpa, where they wouldn't go to mommy and daddy.
Now, that is true that they will confide in someone else other than their parents. But one of the things I always talk to the parents about, don't be nervous or scared to share your relationships that you had as a teen. Sometimes we share the healthy ones, but we don't talk to our children about the unhealthy relationships that
Yes.
we have been a part of. We
Yes.
want to keep that away from them. We don't think they can handle it. But guess what? Many times they can relate, or at least you're giving them some information. So when they have those warning signs come up, they remember that mom or dad, aunt or uncle, guardian, whomever it may be, shared with me their relationship and how it was unhealthy, how it
Right.
was abusive. And now I think I'm in a situation that I have a person that I am dating, and just start from you.
Absolutely.
That there's sometimes they're going to be in relationships with people who may try to treat them badly, may try to abuse them, try
Absolutely.
to demean them, don't show them love, don't care for them. And if you have experienced that, share that with your child so they will know, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to show a video real quick
Sure.
about as I said, these it is just to see young people do a video about teen violence. It was
Yes.
wonderful, and to find them, it was great. So I'm going to
Okay.
share a video that was done with some teens. Uh,
Okay.
let me see, share. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so here we go.
I'm only checking your phone because I want this relationship to last.
Go change your clothes. I can't have my partner look better than me when we go out.
You look like you gained weight. Maybe you should skip a meal. Why would you hang out with your friends when you could be spending time with me?
We need to be on the phone tonight so I know when you're going to sleep.
I had my friends catfish you to make sure you weren't cheating on me.
I broke the condom so we'd be together forever.
You are the most pathetic person I know.
Your family doesn't love you?
I'm the only one who could ever love you.
Why weren't you where I told you to be after school?
If you have sex with me, I won't
Out you to your parents.
I threw away your college acceptance letter. You don't need it anyways.
It's my job to provide and take care of you.
I can't trust you being with anyone else.
I know you're cheating on me. I can't prove it.
I slapped you because you shouldn't talk to me like that.
You should have more respect for me.
If I can't have you, no one can.
If you break up with me,
I'm gonna kill myself.
I'm gonna hurt you. You're worthless.
I experienced the emotional, mental abuse, financial abuse, isolation, manipulation, controlling, physical abuse, and sexual abuse. I'm Maya Pribble, and I'm a survivor of teen dating violence. I think the cycle of abuse, it starts with the honeymoon period and the gifts and taking me out to eat. And then it started with the emotional abuse and the little comments here and there, and then something big would happen and it would be a really big escalation of verbal abuse or sexual abuse. He would wrap me back in by telling me that he loved me and he's sorry and he didn't mean it, and I would try and call him out on the things that he did, like, you raped me, and he would say, no, I didn't, I would never do that, I love you. I always had the excuse of love means that you can do whatever you want to your partner, and I didn't realize that that was wrong. I knew something was wrong about it, but I didn't know how to fight it. I was getting ready to go to post-secondary school for my senior year of high school. I was watching those training videos on sexual violence. They had asked a lot of questions like, are you experiencing this or that? And I checked all of the boxes. And I knew that in that moment that I was definitely in an abusive relationship and everybody was right. I had this mentality that I had to prove everybody wrong. But in that moment, everything came crashing down. I just have this drive to be able to help other victims and survivors, to let them know that it's okay, I've been through this and you can get through this. So I think that's how I'm able to talk about it, just because I know that it'll help so many other people by sharing my story and just letting them know that there is hope. There is hope, and you can survive. You are a survivor, and you will overcome this.
Wow, that's an awesome video.
That's an awesome video.
I love
And
it at the end. You are
I,
not alone.
right. I love the fact that she was so open about
Yes.
what she went through, and that thank God she was able to. And I don't know who did the questionnaire, but maybe every school should have that questionnaire that they're
Yes.
asking them these questions, so that that they can get help. And it helped her, because she didn't really have to tell anybody. She just checked off on a piece of paper what her themes were, and she was able to get help, and she was able to see that she was actually in an abusive relationship. So
Yes.
I want to ask you, and I know we talked about it a little bit, but how do we help? How do we help our teens? And maybe
Okay.
I should word it a little bit. We did talk about the relationship. So we talked about a healthy relationship. So let's talk about what a healthy relationship should look like between teenagers.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about that. And before I start on that, I just want to say we have across the banner the telephone number, National Teen Dating Violence Hotline, 1-866-331-9474. If you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, please call that hotline, 866-331-9474. Okay? So, healthy relationship, what does that look like? What is it based on? I'm just going to give a few pointers. When you're in a healthy relationship, the person has respect for you and treats you with respect.
Okay.
The communication is good. So good communication. You have trust, you have honesty, the person is caring, and the person is loving towards you. Okay?
Yes.
Unhealthy relationship. Well, when it's unhealthy, one person is trying to make all of the decisions.
Mm.
There's a break in communication because basically you do not have a voice. So you
Mm.
can't communicate. Okay? Dishonesty, healthy relationship, honesty. Unhealthy, dishonesty. Struggles for control. This person wants to control everything you do. Okay? Inconsistent behavior. One minute they like you, one minute they love you, one next minute you're stupid,
Mm.
manipulative. They're trying to manipulate you.
Mm.
Inc- one minute they're hugging you, one minute they want to break up with you. Inconsistent behavior. Okay. Not caring, not loving, and they only want to spend time with you. Okay.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So that's unhealthy. Abuse is when it goes from unhealthy to being abusive because now these behaviors that the person has, they are fully 100% acting the behaviors out. Accusations. Okay. You cannot do anything without that person accusing you. You
Mm.
went to the store, you came back. No, you didn't go to the store. But I text you while I was at the store. But I showed you. No, you were with someone else. So constantly accusing you and making you be the problem. See, abuser never see him or herself as a problem. You are always the problem. You're the reason why they have to treat you this way. Understand that. You made me hit you. You
All
made
right.
me slap you. You made me throw
Mm.
your cell phone against the floor. You made me do this because you don't love me. You don't treat me. I cannot trust you. So, abusive, constantly blaming you for everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Isolation, isolation. They don't want you around anyone else but them. They manipulate you. They make all the decisions. And
Mm.
again, you cannot spend time with other people. So when you are in an unhealthy relationship, that's to me, that's like a trigger. That's a warning sign. I'm just letting you know because it may not get better. It
Mm.
can only get worse. And a
Yes.
lot of time our teenagers may be in an unhealthy relationship because they feel as though they want to be loved. The person initially showed love. So I used to do play videos like you, and I also did skits. And one of the skits, the gent I acted out was the person showed love at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Teenage boy played basketball. He was loving his girlfriend, so he showed love. I want to be loved. But when she started to act, I mean, when she started to want to do things on her own, to think for herself, to be her own person, he didn't like that.
Right.
So a person may begin to abuse you because they don't want you to have control of self. See,
Right.
self control is not what they want you, they don't want you to have control of self or control of what you do. They want to control everything that you do, everything. And that's when this abuse happens. So just because you want to be loved and you like this person, and he's like Coach Cynthia said, he's the famous football player.
Right.
He is the top top basketball player. He's top in his class. He's the valedictorian. It doesn't matter. No one has the right to abuse you. No one has the right to um, verbally abuse you, emotionally, physically, financial, digital abuse. No one has that right. So when you're in a relationship, understand unhealthy can quickly turn to abuse. And you
Yes.
have to pay attention to the warning sign and stop thinking that you can change the person.
Yes. Yes.
Many times you have to leave that relationship because the person, and I'm going to say not many times, I'm going to say you have to leave that relationship because the person has to be willing to change. You cannot change your abuser. Your abuser must be willing to change him or herself. Don't
Absolutely.
stay there thinking that if I love him more, if I love her more, if I listen, because now you're just being manipulated. You're
Mm,
being controlled. They're playing mind games with you. Now you're confused and you're thinking that you're the reason why they're abusing you.
right.
I'm
Right.
the reason why he hits me. Because you know what? I told him I'll call him back at 8 o'clock, but I called back at 8:01.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was
Yes.
my fault. And that's what they're telling their family, their friends. It was my fault.
Right.
Their
Right.
best girlfriend. He's not gonna do it again. I know he slapped those books out of my hand in front of you, but you know what? He was just overwhelmed. He was stressed. He had a test that he had to study for. He didn't do well on that test, and I told him I would call him back tonight and help him study, but I fell asleep, and he got a C, and it's all my fault. No, it's not. Your
Right.
abuser has a problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will repeat this 1,001 times. As adults, we have to pay attention to the signs, especially the unspoken signs.
Yes.
A lot of times teens cover for other teens. So if you have a niece or a nephew and they're around the same age as your child, more than likely they're not going to tell you what's going on before it gets really bad. And sometimes they don't even tell you until something major happens where it's no way to cover it up. You don't find out until your son or daughter's in the hospital. You don't find out until your son or daughter is missing. You haven't seen them all night and you're trying to figure out where they are. That's when a lot of times the teenager that is the cousin or a relative that's around their age, that's when they may say, well, I knew that she was going through that, but we just thought she told me instead of coming to you and letting you know what's going on. So the signs are always there.
Yes.
It with teenagers, like I said, teen starts at 10. If you see your fifth grader, because when I was 10 in the fifth grade, at 10, you see your fifth grader attitude change. Don't assume it's just because they're a moody teenager. Don't assume that.
You're
Sometimes it
right.
could be that teenager is going through something at school. And whether it's bullying, because it could be the same thing, it could look the
Right.
same, it could be bullying. You definitely want to make sure that you're paying attention, that you're seeking them out and understanding what they're going through when they actually do tell you. And they need to have a comfortable place to fall. That's a
Right.
great way to help is a comfortable, not accusing, not saying things like, well, maybe
Yes.
you shouldn't say that to him. Maybe, I
Yes.
mean, it's easy for us to say, oh, break away. And that's what we want. But sometimes, and I'm pretty sure Coach Tina has heard this. I know I've heard this, is that a lot of times it takes 7 times for them to leave permanently.
Yes.
It's not something that's going to happen as soon as you find out about it. Mommy
Right.
and daddy feel like they found out about it and they done told their daughter or son to leave them alone, and now all of a sudden everything's going to be great again. And a lot of times that is not the case because they got to go through the honeymoon stage because that person's going to court them right back the same way they courted them the first time. They're going to court them back the second time,
And that
and then
is true.
you become the enemy. Then you become the enemy. As you have already said, oh, see, your mother doesn't want us together. She doesn't understand our love. I joke about this with my husband, but literally, that is what your teenager will say to you when they're in a relationship. And
Right.
it's not a good relationship. Is that you
Yes.
don't understand my love, and
Yes.
that will come out of their mouth.
That
and
is true.
and you need to be watching. And that's how you help sometimes. Sometimes you can't literally step in, but let them know I'm here for you. Don't criticize, don't knock, just I'm here for you.
That is true. And I love the fact that you mentioned there are some nonverbal signs because if a child is 10 or 11 years old, they're still trying to understand the feelings that they have. So they
Mm-hmm.
really cannot communicate
Right.
that in words. So you have to look at those subtle signs that, okay, something's going on. So how do I talk to my young person that's 10, 11, and 12 years old because they're still trying to understand these emotions. They're still trying to understand the feelings. They're not totally understanding what abuse is. They understand how the person is making them feel, but is this
Yes.
really abuse, or is this what a relationship's supposed to look like?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I often talk about play fighting. Please,
Mm-hmm.
please, I'm going to say this. If you have teenagers or you're a teenager yourself and you're play fighting a lot with your boyfriend or girlfriend and it becomes very aggressive, there's no play fighting, there's no hitting, okay?
Right. Right.
And we tend to not talk about that. Oh, she just slapped him. That's play fighting. No, she hit him.
She hit him.
She hit him, and it hurt, and it will become abuse. And when she's angry, if she hit him, then you're gonna think differently. Oh, he just pushed her. She fell, but he was playing with her. When he
Mm-hmm.
becomes angry and he pushed her and she falls, will you say the same thing? No, you won't. So we have to be careful when we begin that process. It's okay to shove and push. You see
Yeah.
kids in school, they like to, I would say mushing, but that's just a slang term, taking a
Mm-hmm.
person in your hand and putting it in their face and
Right.
mushing them and tell them to go, get out my face, using different words. And they think it's funny, think it's cute, think it's okay, but it's not. It's unhealthy because what happens is when that person's not playing, or feel like, not playing anymore, or don't feel like playing, and you go to do the same scenario you have done many
Mm-hmm.
times, now that person can become aggressive towards you. And you
Absolutely.
wonder, why did he hit me or did she hit me? So we have to be careful with the play fighting and stop saying it. It's okay when we see it. We need to tell our young men to keep their hands to themselves. It's not acceptable to hit a girl. And you got to tell our young ladies it's not acceptable to hit a boy. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another key thing that you talked about was jealousy. I'm
Yes.
going to show this video of somebody telling the difference between jealousy and love when and I thought it was a very good, it's not a long one, but I thought this was a very good video of
Great.
knowing the difference, because even some adults, I don't think sometimes we know the difference. And so I'm hoping it's gonna pop up for me. Let's see. Is it gonna do it for me? Yes.
Fiction. Jealousy is not a sign of love. If I asked you to tell me what kinds of emotions people feel when they feel jealous, you might say things like upset, mad, angry, frustrated, violent, no trust, and revenge. And then if I asked you to make a list of ideally what do you want love to be, you might say things like trust, happiness, respect, honest, intimate, and safe. So when we look at these two lists, it's really clear that jealousy does not equal love. We get a lot of messages from the time that we're really young that if we're in a relationship and someone feels jealous, that it means that they care about us. But it's not true, right? Jealousy has nothing to do with caring about someone. Jealousy has to do with how you feel about yourself. It's about insecurity. It's about lack of trust. It's not about loving someone. And this is really important because extreme jealousy or OD jealousy can be the number one warning sign that a relationship can turn into an abusive relationship.
That's true.
All
That was good.
right. So, as we're coming to the last 15 minutes, I really wanted to show that because I think a lot of us misunderstand the difference between love and jealousy. As she said, you
Yes.
think jealousy is a good
It's
thing because it's like, oh, he loves me, he's jealous. But that's not true. That's his insecurity or her insecurity being portrayed upon you. And so, when we are in relationships, jealousy shouldn't be something that we look towards as a demonstration of
right.
love. Jealousy is exactly what it is. It's an insecurity, and it comes
Right.
out in anger and abuse, and it comes out in verbiage, the way they speak to you. At first, yes, they're nice and they're loving and they're caring, and then as soon as you don't talk the way they want you to talk, or they thought you said something, or you're on your cell phone too much, who are you looking at? Who are you talking to on your cell phone? Let me see your phone. Or you go out to dinner, oh, you eating too much. Why are you eating that? You just need a salad. You need to lose weight. You don't gain weight. So we have to be careful of thinking that jealousy is love, because jealousy is not love.
No, it's not. It's not love at all. And I love the fact that you played that video, because many times we think it's okay for someone to, oh, I love it when he's jealous or when she's jealous. That means she loves me more. He loves me more. They find jealousy to be flattering, and that's the misconception.
Yes.
Because when a person is extremely jealous, there it can lead to them having behaviors of abuse. So you may think it's flattering until you do not do what he or she requested you to do.
Absolutely.
And then that flatter becomes abuse. And that now all of a sudden you understand that jealousy is not love. So we can't equate the two together.
I am just writing in the comments. Jealousy
Okay.
is not
Love it. Love it.
love. Jealousy.
Jealousy is not love. Love is not abuse. Okay, two things. Love is not abuse, and jealousy is not love. We understand. You got to love yourself. And there's an
Yes.
organization that used to be out there that says love shouldn't hurt. And we
Yes.
understand that love shouldn't hurt. And when they
Yes.
use the word hurt, they mean abuse.
Mm,
Love shouldn't be abusive.
yes.
Um, so we have to be careful what we define as love as
Yes.
teenagers.
Yes.
You had asked me a question earlier, and since we're coming down to the end of time, talking to your team is very important. So if you have a teenager who you believe is in an abusive relationship, first of all, you have to listen, and you have to basically accept what they're telling you. I don't think anyone would like to hear their teen,
Hmm.
their child, let me say their child because it could be a niece, nephew, their child telling them, I'm in an abusive relationship. But you have to be willing to listen. And you have to be willing to have them tell their story.
Yes.
And you want to stop them and say, what? No, listen, let them tell their story. Let them tell what they're experiencing. Allow them, and see, and we do this in DV, domestic violence, but it's hard to do it with a teenager because in domestic violence, a situation with adults, you allow them to make up their own mind as an advocate whether or not they want to leave or stay.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It's very hard, but you can't make that decision for them. So when you have that teenagers coming to you, yeah, it's hard, but you have to listen to them making their own mind of their conclusions. Okay, what they should do. You may disagree with it, and of course you're going to work towards having them become safe, and safety plan. But you have to listen to them creating their own way of how they want to handle it.
Yes.
Okay. And so having their own mindset. And although them having their own mindset is not helping because they're staying in the abusive relationship, but you just have to listen. Because the worst thing you could do when you start to um, I guess badger them, yell at them, then they can shut down.
Yes.
Okay. They can shut down. And now you have no form of communication. And teens are very creative in ways to be very secretive.
Yes.
So you'll think they're not seeing that person anymore, and they'll find ways to still see that person. They'll tell
Absolutely.
you, I'm over my friend's house, I'm over relative house, I'm staying late at the library, I'm staying late at the school, I joined this organization. You think the
Right.
organization is
Right.
something great, but guess what? They joined that organization because the boy is involved in another organization a block down the street. So when
Right.
they leave that organization, she walks by the other organization, they meet up, and you're thinking all is well. So no, be open. Another hard thing. Should I prevent them from seeing the person?
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know the story,
Mm-hmm.
now that I know what's happening, should I prevent my teenager from seeing that person?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell a parent you shouldn't prevent them, but I think you definitely have to begin to think of safety plans, um, and put them in place. And we don't have time to go into all that, but if you do call the National Dating Abuse Hotline, they have tools they can give you so we can set up a safety plan for your teenager to get out of that abusive relationship. Because of course you don't want that person, the teenager, to stay there in
Mm-hmm.
that abusive relationship, to stay with that partner. But the hardest thing is when you tell them you don't want them, you don't know they're going to do the opposite. Because now that you tell them I don't want you to be with that person, now they love them even more.
Right.
Because how can you take him away from me? He's the love of my life, and I'm talking like a teen for, many reasons because that's how they sound. He's a love. I never had anyone love me like this before. Mom, you just don't understand. Dad, you don't understand. I hate you. You just
Right.
trying to ruin my life.
Right.
That's the guy I want to be with forever and ever and ever. And he's not that bad. Okay. So
Absolutely.
begin that process with
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that you're safe. And
Yes.
your safety means the best to me.
Yes.
And because your safety means a lot to me, I want to discuss whether or not it's safe for you to be with that person. Let's discuss this. And that's beginning to talk about, other than telling them that they're not. Tell them you have their best interests. Tell them I understand. I empathize. It's very hard to say these things. Trust me, I'm a coach saying this. But when you're in that experience, when you're experiencing this, it's not easy. But you want to keep the lines of communication open. So you always have to remember the ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is to get my child away from this person. So if
Absolutely.
I have to set aside my ego, not my ego. What's the word I'm looking for right now?
My
Set
pride,
aside
my
your
anger.
pride. That's what I want to say.
My
Because I don't know
pride.
why I said ego. I
Mhm.
gotta set aside my pride on the way I will do things.
Right.
I'm a mother. You supposed to listen to what I say. When I
Right.
tell you what to do, I don't want any, you giving me any feedback. No, you got to set all that aside. And you have to say, what's the ultimate goal? What's the best interest of my child? Don't talk about it with a whole bunch of family members. Don't
Absolutely.
post it on a family text, where everyone else can see. She just told me, or he just told me she's being abused, and she still want to hang. And now everyone's talking about it. And then someone contacts your child, and all of a sudden your child feels like you done told their business. Now they're upset. They shut it down. They feel embarrassed because many times, I'm just going to say this: when you're in an abusive relationship, you feel embarrassed that you're in this relationship.
Absolutely.
You don't even want to talk about it half the time.
That's
You trying to figure out how did this happen to me?
right.
Because many times we feel like abuse doesn't supposed to happen to me. I
Right.
saw this on television.
Right.
I
Right.
saw my other friends, but it would never happen to me. So you feel embarrassed. You feel as though it's your fault. You
Right.
let this happen. But many times it's not that you never let it happen. So you never blame the person. That's another
Right.
thing. You never blame your child
Right.
for being in an abusive relationship. What happens is abuse just came in a relationship. Don't blame her. Don't blame him. Even though they're telling you they want to go back. No, don't blame them. So we have to realize that. And like I said, don't give up on your child. Don't
Mm-hmm.
give up. Believe in them. Believe that there's a safety plan. There's some steps you're going to put in place. And you're going to work with your child because that's the ultimate goal. We want to get that child out safe. And we want that child to begin to love on him or herself. And once they're in a safe place, sometimes children need counseling because once they experience abuse, what we don't want to do is start the cycle of being in an abusive relationship again.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
when it's not addressed, what happens? They seek out the same girl or same boy with the same characteristics, and now
Yes.
you have a pattern
Yes.
that's happening again. Everyone they're dating is abusive because now they consider abuse to be love. So
Right.
that you definitely want to get them help.
Absolutely. And I did put in the chat
Okay.
everything that we were just talking about, how to
Okay.
help. You got to listen. You got to work with them to find a safe place.
Right.
Don't talk about it with everyone. I really want to emphasize this one. This is serious because a lot of times we don't realize it, but when you gossip to somebody else about
Yes.
somebody else's trauma, somebody else's pain,
Yes.
somebody else's abuse, they're not going to trust you to come when it comes again. They're not
Yes.
going to trust you because I told you this in confidence. And as you said, when you're being abused, you're ashamed. So I came
Yes.
to you in confidence because you told me I could talk to you. And now, as soon as I walk out the room, you done went and called Aunt so and so, or you talking
Yes.
to your best friend about it. I heard you last night on the phone, and
Yes.
even if they don't say it to you, they won't come to you again. So they
Right.
may tell you, oh, no, I'm not talking to him. But not only is she talking to him, the relationship that wasn't physical now becomes physical because
Yes.
now
Yes.
she feels, and he's probably already in her head talking about, oh, your mother don't want us together. If you really want to, if
Yes.
we really want to prove our love to each other, we should have sex. And they probably didn't have sex before that happened. But now she done heard you talking to people about her or him. And then that relationship changes. It goes even higher than you anticipated. So we have to be careful. If you are told what I would consider a secret, you take that secret with you. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Nobody should know about it. If they come
No.
to you, if it's the mom that they're coming to, mom, even if you don't want to keep it from your husband, you might have to, at least at the beginning, just so they understand that they know they can trust you. If it's your daughter coming to you, father, don't jump up and ready. I'm going to go beat them up and I'm going to, no, be there for your child.
Yes.
Safeguard your child at that moment.
Yes.
Let you be their safe
That's
place.
it.
Let
That's
you
true.
be their safe place. And so then they won't run to that person because they know that when I went to go talk to my dad, he kept it to himself. When I went and
Yes.
talked to my mom, my aunt, my grandmother, my guardian, my friends, my friend's mother, or my friend's father, when I went to talk to them, they talked to me and they listened. And you said
Right.
listen. And I want everybody to be clear on what listen means. Listen means to hear. Judge Judy says it all the time. God gave
Listen with your ears, not with your mouth.
right. God gave you two of these and one of these. Use these. Listen. Put on your listening ears. When you
Yes.
are listening, that means that you are processing what they're saying to you. Don't already be in your mind saying, you know what? Soon as we finish talking, I'm gonna call him on the phone. I'm gonna call his mother. I'm gonna call everybody. I'm gonna let every, and you're sitting there already in your mind processing what you're going to do, and that's not what they need. They need you to hear what they're going through. There is no reason for a
Yes.
child to ever be hit by somebody they think they love.
Right.
There's
That is
no reason.
true.
No boy should ever be cursing out his girlfriend and she thinks that's love. No girl
Yes.
should be cursing out her boyfriend and he thinks that's love. That's why we as the adults have to know how to be a safe place, how to
Yes.
let them understand what real love looks like. That's why this discussion can't end. We'll talk about it again. We're coming down to our last 2 minutes. We'll talk about this again because I wanted to put the church element in this, but the church has to open up its doors to
Yes.
this particular subject
That's
because
true.
it's one that needs to be talked about because a lot of our kids meet in church. They go to
Yes.
the same church and they're in abusive relationship in the church
Yes.
because they, like you said, they up there play fighting and pushing each other around and they
Or
both sing in the choir and all that other stuff.
yeah, it is emotional abuse that happens. Like, because I'm dating you, I'm dating her, you don't know that I'm dating her, and you're playing. So now you don't know I'm dating him, and now I find out, and you're doing this all the time, and you make me feel as though I'm the one, and I'm hurting, and I'm crying. So
Yeah,
it's so many different forms of abuse. And one thing I want to say very quickly is be careful what you say to your children about that person, the abuser, that's
yeah,
negative, because many times they go back and tell him, well, my mother said this and that, and it happens, and then it escalates the situation,
yes,
or they'll turn that child against you. So,
yes,
although we came up with different scenarios, every scenario is not going to be for your child, but you have an idea. We're giving you a various scenarios so you can understand how teen dating abuse looks like, how it feels. And then you can take these tips tonight and you can apply it to your loved one, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to wrap this up. Thank you, Coach Tina, for coming on. Like I said, she'll
Yes,
be back on, and we may do this in February. Hopefully, we will. We'll do this in
that's right. That's
February.
Team Baby
Right?
Month.
We'll do it in February, and also bring her back in January so she can talk about financial literacy. So for all of us who
That's
financially
right.
messed up
That's
after
right.
Christmas. So thank you so much for coming on the show. It was such an honor to have you.
It's an honor to be here. And if you don't mind, like I know some people have hit me up. If you need to reach me, if you don't mind, I give my
Oh no, no,
information.
I got you.
Okay.
There
All
you
right.
go. I'm
There you
sorry,
go. All
everybody.
right.
I got all her info right there, and I will
Baby.
put it on the line. But you can reach Coach Tina. She has a Facebook page. It is Coach Tina Lane. Her email, she has two. One is tina.lane@yahoo.com or Coach Tina Lane at gmail.com. Either way, you can get in contact with this wonderful woman of God. I told you, she gonna come with it. She come with
Um,
it.
that's right. That's right.
Come
And
with it.
yes, I will. Thank you so much. And the email for Yahoo is actually Tina L.
Oh, I'm
dot
sorry.
Lane at yahoo.com. So it's
Tina
okay. But
L.
thank you. Yeah, Tina L. Yes. Tina L. dot Lane. But thank you. It's been wonderful. I'm looking forward to coming back. Um,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
definitely looking forward to this opportunity again. I enjoyed it. There we go. There it is. Yes. She is quick with it. Quick with it. So you can definitely hit me in my inbox as well, and I will just send you my contact telephone number if you need to reach me as well. But it's been a pleasure to be here to talk about something that we often don't talk about, and we need to talk about it. It's not a secret. It's
That's
happening. Go
very
to and look it up. You'll find that a lot of our teens are losing their life, and we
yes.
have to discuss it because they're being killed,
Amen.
murdered,
Amen.
stalked.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is
Man.
this is no secret. This is real life and it's
Real
happening.
life. Absolutely. God bless you,
God
Tina.
bless you. Okay. Bye everyone.
And so I'm going to let everybody know the National Teen Dating Abuse Hotline number is 1-866-311-9474. Please, once again, the National Teen Dating Abuse Hotline number is 1-866-313-331-9474. Please, if you know somebody, anybody, maybe you don't know nobody, but you just want to know, call that number. It is so important that we take care of our sisters and brothers, because these are our kids. They are our sisters and brothers, and we need to make sure that they are living prosperous lives. And so I thank Coach Tina for being on the show tonight. I thank everybody for watching. I thank everybody who's going to watch in the replay. And I will see you guys again next week on the Crazy Within Talk Show. God bless everybody.